All right, everyone, welcome back. So we're going to start working on video number 3 here. This is how to make the tops. This is kind of your unique design. So I'm going to start with my unique design. So I'm going to do a solids versus stripes kind of pool ball chess set. And as you can see up here in my sketch, again, I'm not the best sketcher. Basically, I'll have a pool ball here at the top, and then a kind of a stem which graduates into matching up with the base that we made earlier. So we'll go ahead and we'll put this as a 1.5 inches because that was our base width. So and then as far as from a coloring standpoint, I'm not requiring you all, if you've got multiple different same or similar designs that are going to be different colors, you don't have to necessarily draw each one and color each one in, but put some sort of label in there, table, whatever, to let me know. Or if we were in the real world, you might be the sketcher and somebody else does the CAD piece, what it is exactly you're thinking, so that person who's doing the CAD can look at your paper and quickly make what it is you're looking for. So in this case, doing solids versus stripes, I've got my pawn equals the Q. So if we look at the picture in the background from Amazon, that's just a white ball. So start from the bottom up. We'll go king all the way up to the rook. So that's kind of where I started with my thought process. If you play billiards or pool, two main games are either 8-ball or 9-ball. An 8-ball, once you hit all your balls in, making the 8-ball in wins. So kind of thinking along the chess, taking and checkmating that king is kind of the vital piece. So on my solid side, I've got the 8-ball as the king. And then the other, probably second most common, or if you watch billiards or pool on TV, 9-ball is very popular as well. The goal is to make those balls in a row, with the last one being the 9-ball. You can also combination shot and make the 9-ball in win. But again, the ball that sinks in to win, or if you hit it out of order, just like the 8-ball, the 9-ball is the winner. So on the stripe side, I've got the 9 as the king. So this did lead to a little bit of a design, I won't say issue, but kind of a bugaboo for me. Instead of having, the colors match rook to rook, knight to knight, it's going to be a little bit off. Or you know what? As I'm saying this, let's change this. Let's go 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're color coordinated up. So pawns are going to be Qs. Same on both sides. It's just nice and simple. Our rooks are going to be the 2 and the 10. So solid blue versus stripe blue. Knight is going to be 3 and 11. So solid 3 versus red 3 or stripe 3. Red stripe for the 11. The bishop 4 and the 12. So the purple ball. So solid purple, stripe purple. And then the 5. Solid orange and stripe orange. And then the kings, obviously not color matched, but you got the 8-ball and the 9-ball. Makes sense if you play pool. Again, for this project, you can do anything you want for the top. This is your unique time to shine. I'm just doing this as something that I like, color coordinated, and relatively simple. I know I can do it in Onshape. So now I'm going to walk you through how to make this kind of shape in Onshape. A couple ways to do it. All right, so here we are. We got Onshape going up. Move my paper out of the way. If we remember back to video number 1 or our PowerPoint, all of the components need to be their own part studio. So I'm going to move this over here. We got our pawn base, our back row base, and now we're just going to make the pawn. So we're going to go pawn, top. So whereas before I made my base going from the top down because I was doing circles and I was stacking them basically for the different rings. This one I'm going to do from the side view. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the front, top, right. I'm going to hide. All I want is my front view. So I'm going to do I'm going to end up using the revolve tool. So a couple of ways to do this. I can, either way, I'm going to sketch. I'm going to sketch on the front. In order to use revolve, you need two things. We'll hover here so it'll show us. We need to have a surface or a shape, something that is a closed geometry, so square, circle, random squiggly lines. As long as they form a shape and you know it's done that, formed a closed geometry because it'll turn gray, and I'll show you that in a second. That's one, and that is what you're going to revolve around an axis, so basically a straight line. If we think about a traditional pool ball, you know, it's a circle. So in this case, we'll draw our line first. That being our axis, we're going to escape that. And if we just wanted to do the pool ball, just to do the revolve, and then we hit revolve. We want that shape. Face of sketch one, our revolve axis being that line. There we go. Now we got a three-dimensional ball. Now, that would look kind of awkward if we were to insert the pawn top and kind of just stick it on there. I mean, we could do that, but most of the time when you see a chess set, there's kind of a shape, and then it's got like a stem or a stand, and it kind of comes into it a little bit better versus just being an object sitting on top of the base. Now I say that, if you go back to my original videos, or even if we hit this camera, let's pop this up real quick. Video capture, there we go. In this case, Batman, he's literally just standing on the base. Granted, it kind of makes sense. In this case, the Batman logo, it's kind of sticking on there. There's a little small base, but it also goes with the Batman shape. So it's just a matter of what you like. So I'm going to make this a little bit, I won't say fancier, but a few more parts than just a ball sitting on a base. That's kind of boring in my opinion. So we're going to go back to this pawn top. I'm going to start this over from scratch. I could just continue from where I was. Delete. So sketch, top, I need my line. We're going to go right to the origin to make it nice and simple. Bam. So I could kind of make my shape. So if I wanted to do a ball up top, and then I want to come into, say, a rectangular kind of stem piece. And then we'll kind of make it flare out. Now, they're not all lined up right, so we'll have to dimension this a little bit. So let's see, we got our dimension tool. We'll go from here to the far side. Let's make that a 1/4 of an inch stem. Let's make this from here to here. Let's go half of that, 0.125. There we go, a little bit better lined up. We want this bottom base to be roughly 1.5 inches, 1.5. From this dot to the middle, that's 0.125, sweet. From there to there, that works. Now from here to the middle, I want that to be half of that. So we're going to go 0.75. From here to here, 0.75, so that works. Let's do our dimension of our circle. It's probably a little big. I saw that. We'll just do a 1-inch circle. So now I kind of got it dimensioned out. Now, when I go to hit revolve, it's going to make parts for every single one of these little gray section in between the yellow lines. So really all I really want here is I want to grab, let's clear all these out. We're just going to start clicking on the ones I want. I want the ball, the stem, and the base. And I want to revolve it around this axis. So there we go. We kind of got a round base, kind of a pipe stem looking thing going on, and then our ball up top. We know it's done what I want here. We've got the 3 separate parts, but really I want the ball to be one color. My stem and base are going to be another color, so I'm going to highlight these two. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go Boolean, and that basically says, hey, can these all be one part? Yes, they can. So we're going to hit that. In this case, I'm going to make the base red, and I'm going to make this part 1. I'm going to make that kind of this grayish color. There's not really a white here in Onshape, so we go with that just as a placeholder. So there we go. We got a red stem with a cue ball. We'll rename these parts. We've got the pool ball. Save. We'll rename this one stem and base. There we go. Now if I hit the front or the back, whichever way, it's the same because I'm 360. Now if I go back to my assembly tab, my part is gone, so we're going to delete this. We're going to reinsert our pawn topper. And I'm actually going to go back to my pawn base. I'm going to edit appearance, make this red. So that way when I come into here, now they're close by. Now it's just a matter of sticking them together. Now these aren't connected because they're separate parts. So we're going to have to go through and we're going to have to fasten mate, just like when we did our puzzle cube. I want the center of this base to go to the center of this face. Check. There we go. And then last but not least, I'm going to fasten mate the middle of this circle, which is my ball, to the middle of this stem. Check. I'm going to bring this back to the front. And there we go. Now I've basically got a cue ball pawn. If I move this, the whole thing moves, so I know they're all connected together. I'm going to close that one out. My 2 fastens are there. I'm good to go. Now, that is how you make the top and connect it to the base. So similar concept. I know some of my students are kind of doing their own take on just making a traditional pool set, chess set, sticking in them on a base. It's fine. I mean, it's not overly unique, but it's kind of okay because it's still going to show off the skill sets we're looking for. So in that case, still doing the revolve tool. I make my line, then I escape from it. So this will be my line of axis. In this case, my recommendation would be to use the spline tool. This will allow you to make any sort of curves. You just have to kind of keep clicking. So starting from the line of axis, we're going to kind of make our Now this could be the topper. For our pawn. Then once I'm done, I just click on the revolve tool, revolve this shape around that line. And it kind of gives us a pawn-ish shape. Again, I did that pretty quickly. You can use more points in your spline to make it work. If I go then to my assembly tab, let's insert another pawn base. So we got pawn base. We got other part studio. And just like when we did the pool ball set, probably could have done a better job of spacing these out. We want that center piece. Fasten it. Front. There you go. It's probably sticking out a little bit more than you might like. So in that case, if I go back to this pawn studio, which I should rename, pawn top traditional. Just abbreviated traditional as trad. In this case, if I go back to the sketch, if I were to say dimension this out, let's see if this will work. From here to here. If we want the rotation around it to be 1.5 inches, we'll take this to 0.75. Green check it. There we go. Let's see if we go back. Now it's a little bit closer to what might be more expected of that size versus it being awkward and really big. Now if I go back here, edit the appearance, let's say we make this black. Done on that assembly. Now I got a red base versus a black top. So there you go. There's a couple of tops. I will make a fourth video. I've had a couple of requests for different things, from football helmets, how do I make the shape, some recommendations on people have done some pretty unique ideas, but struggling to do them in Onshape. So I'm going to walk through what my recommendation would be, which is, taking a picture of your sketch, putting it into Onshape, and then tracing it, then making it kind of a flat, extruded 3D kind of sign. But we'll get into that more in video number 4, so stay tuned for more. Thank you all.